Uncle, have you ever sat alone and asked yourself, what am I really living for? That question came from Jimmy, my 17-year-old grandson, on a quiet Sunday morning as we sat in the backyard, sipping coffee. He said it, then went silent. I didn't answer right away either. I just sat there, watching sunlight filter through the oak branches, and felt something stir inside me like someone gently struck a bell in my chest. I'm over 60 now. My wife passed 7 years ago. The kids are grown, busy, and live far away. Most weeks, it's only Jimmy who drops by to help fix the printer, cook a meal, or just sit and chat about nothing in particular. In my younger days, I was constantly on the move working, chasing paperwork, trying to build a life in a new country, making sure my wife and kids had everything they needed. Now I sit in a house I own, with a steady pension and a fridge full of food, yet still, I feel like something's missing. Jimmy likes reading mindfulness books and modern Zen stuff. He said, "Uncle, try saying 5 simple lines to yourself every morning, like they do in Japan." I chuckled. Only time I talk to myself is when I'm grumbling about where I left my glasses. But he handed me a little note, neatly folded like a quiet reminder. I am grateful for this new day. I accept impermanence. Inoturi, compassion. I walk in wisdom. I am at peace with myself. I didn't say anything then, but that night, before bed, I unfolded the paper and read them again. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. No phone, no news, no radio. I just sat by the window with a cup of tea and slowly read those 5 lines. No rituals, no chanting, just honest words to myself. I am grateful for this new day. I'd never felt the weight of that line before, because at this age, you never quite know how many new days you still have left. I started saying those 5 lines each day, sometimes after washing my face, sometimes in the car before going to the store. Not every day felt meaningful. Some days I just mumbled them like a machine, but other days, like when I was quietly washing dishes, I'd suddenly exhale, as if letting go of something I'd been holding on to too long. One time, as I read, I accept impermanence, I remembered the day I said goodbye to my wife. Back then, I couldn't accept it. I felt like a part of my soul had been ripped away. But now, accepting that nothing lasts forever, I don't carry blame anymore. Instead of grieving what I lost, I've begun to be thankful for what we had. I told Jimmy. He just placed a hand on my shoulder and said, "You're starting to understand." This morning, I woke up early, but not because of an alarm. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just age, adjusting my body's rhythm. Or maybe it's because my heart feels a little lighter now. I stepped out to the back porch. No TV, no phone, just a hot cup of coffee and an old wooden chair under the oak tree. The air was still crisp. A gentle breeze carried the last of autumn's leaves. I closed my eyes and silently recited those 5 lines I'd been practicing for weeks. No loud voice, no ceremony, just a quiet conversation with a long-lost friend myself. I am grateful for this new day. I accept impermanence. As I said that second line, a leaf fell right in front of me. It didn't fall straight. It danced, spun in slow circles, and then gently touched the ground. I watched it and let out a breath that felt like release. Impermanence. I've heard that word many times. In movies, in books, from a Vietnamese monk I used to know. But I never really understood it until that moment. No one pushed the leaf. No one could have held it up either. It fell because it was time, not in haste, not in sorrow, just a soft letting go. I remembered the last time I held my wife's hand at the hospital. I gripped it so tightly, as if letting go would mean losing her forever. And in truth, she did go, no matter how tight I held on. I couldn't accept it for years. I blamed God, the doctors, even myself. But today, watching that leaf fall, I felt something ease, because I finally understood she wasn't taken from me. She simply reached her time to fall gently. And maybe what I needed to do was stand still and let her go, like I did with that leaf. Impermanence, it turns out, isn't something to fear. It's simply life reminding us, don't hold on too tight. Everything comes and everything goes. Since that day, I started a new habit. Whenever I see a leaf fall, or someone walks out of my life, or a wave of sadness rises in me, I repeat silently, I accept impermanence. It doesn't erase the sadness, but it helps me stand with it. And slowly, I stopped seeing sadness as something shameful. I told Jimmy. He nodded and said, "You're not afraid of change anymore." I smiled. "Not that I'm fearless, kiddo. I'm just learning to walk with the fear instead of running from it." And I realized this morning, with no alarm, I woke up with something to live for. Not to fix the house, mow the lawn, or pay bills, but simply to watch a leaf fall and smile. I don't know exactly when it started, but the small things around me began to speak, not with sound, but in a whisper so soft you can only hear it when your heart is quiet enough to listen. Like when I'm washing dishes. It used to be just a chore, something to get done. The faster, the better. But lately, when I stand at the sink, water running, hands touching the bowl still warm from breakfast, I feel something like gratitude. Gratitude for having dishes to clean, for the meal that filled me, for hands that still work. I think of that morning line, I am grateful for this new day. It's no longer just on a piece of paper. It's flowing now through the water, through my fingers, through every tiny moment. I've also learned how to do nothing. Really, some afternoons, I just sit on the porch, holding a warm mug of tea, watching sparrows hop along the fence. In the past, I'd have called that a waste of time. Now, I call it spending time with life. That little bird, it doesn't care if it's Monday or Friday. It just needs a branch and a breeze to be joyful. And me? I've had so much, and yet still felt empty. One day, I asked myself, maybe I forgot how to see life through simple eyes? The third morning line says, I nurture compassion for myself and for others. At first, I thought compassion meant charity, helping the poor. But now I see it begins with how I treat myself. It's when I don't scold myself for forgetting to lock the car, or when I oversleep and miss a doctor's appointment, I don't beat myself up. I used to be strict with myself. I thought that was called being responsible. But now I tell myself, it's okay, old man. You did your best today. I've also started treating others more gently. That young neighbor next door. I used to complain about her loud music in the evenings, but now I wonder maybe music is how she fights off loneliness. So instead of giving her side-eye, I started passing cookies over the fence. I'm not saying I've become enlightened, not even close. I still forget my glasses, grumble about gas prices, and have trouble sleeping when the weather turns cold. But there's one thing I know for sure. Every morning, when I say those 5 little lines, I become just a little bit better than the version of me from yesterday. And strangely enough, when I'm gentler with myself, the world around me starts to feel gentler too. The sidewalk I walk each morning feels friendlier. The coffee at the corner shop tastes a bit warmer. And Jimmy's laugh sounds deeper somehow. The world hasn't changed. It's just that I've started listening to the little things, and now they're whispering back, "Welcome home." Today is Sunday. No plans, no errands, no one to meet. Just me sitting on the porch with Jimmy. Each of us holding a warm cup of tea, neither of us saying a word. And yet, somehow, I felt closer to him than ever. A breeze drifted by. Sparrows chirped from the roof. The oak tree cast a soft shadow across the brick patio. I wondered how long had it been since I sat this still, without feeling the need to chase after anything. I turned to Jimmy and asked, "Do you believe peace can come without us trying so hard to find it?" He nodded. Peace isn't a destination. It's an old friend we simply forgot. I chuckled. It seems I'm not only relearning how to live, but also relearning how to just be and still feel alive. These days, I still repeat those 5 lines every morning, not because I'm afraid I'll forget them, but because I want to remember. To remember that today is a gift, that everything changes, and that's okay, that I can be kind to myself, that I can choose wisdom over reaction, and that even if the world isn't at peace, I can be. There was a time I thought peace required escaping, like retreating to some mountaintop, far from the noise of life. But now I see peace doesn't live in hiding. It lives where we stand still, even as the world rushes around us. Peace comes when we no longer get swept away. Someone once asked me, "How can you feel so calm when the world's still in such chaos?" I didn't respond with words. I just smiled, poured another cup of tea, and quietly whispered inside, "I am at peace with myself." Of course, there will still be days when I feel tired, sad, or overwhelmed. But now, I know I have a place to return to, not a house of bricks, but a quiet room inside my own heart. Each morning, when I say those 5 lines, I'm gently knocking on that door, and as long as I can still hear a voice answer from within, I know I'm truly alive. If you've stayed with me all the way to this point, then I believe somewhere inside you, a part of you is nodding along. Maybe you're past 60, like me. Maybe you've known loss. Maybe you've sat alone and felt like your heart was an abandoned house. But you know what? All it takes is a few minutes each morning to say those 5 lines to yourself, not to change the world, but to remember that you are still part of this world, a beautiful, aware, living part of it. So, if these words have touched you even a little, I invite you, try the practice each morning, just like I did. And if your heart feels just a little lighter, share this video with a friend your age, because who knows, maybe one gentle reminder is all it takes to soothe a soul quietly struggling. If you'd like to keep walking with me on this journey of everyday mindfulness, click subscribe, not to chase followers, but so that whenever a new video appears, we can sit down again, like today. In this noisy world, let's hold on to one small, quiet space together. Wishing you a peaceful day. See you again on a mindful morning to come.